Eritrea is a communist or authoritarian state in Africa with only one TV station. It's an authoritarian state that has built more prisons than schools and has not held any elections since independence over 30 years ago. The president literally owns the country, like Kim Jong-un owns North Korea, and has ruled for over 30 years.
People learn it either the easy way or the hard way.
Eritrea's comparison to North Korea lies in its authoritarian regime led by President Isaias Afwerki. The people of Eritrea have been brought up in a propaganda-filled atmosphere where they have never been allowed to think for themselves. The authoritarian state in Eritrea, like any communist regime, thrives on maintaining a close grip on media with the intent to brainwash the innocent, manipulate the vulnerable, confuse the skeptical, and safeguard the average citizen as a tool and property of the state. For the last 3 decades, Eritreans have had access to only one TV station and 2 newspapers, which are all government-controlled and designed to bend the current and future generations towards its communist agenda. I mean, there's no constitution, no rule of law, and it's like a prison where everyone has to serve in the military. And due to this, 1 in every 10 people in this country tries to escape. Pictures like this of Eritreans risking their lives to reach Europe have become too common. The Mediterranean Sea has become a mass grave for Eritreans whose youths are willing to sacrifice their lives to cross it at any costs. The tragedy at Lampedusa, which is an island in Italy, is unforgettable for Eritreans and Italians. It shocked Europe and the whole world because close to 370 Eritreans drowned in the Mediterranean trying to reach Europe. Starved for freedom and peace, Eritreans are still trying to reach European shores, trying to escape their home country in search of meaningful existence. Eritreans refugees are similar to the scores of North Koreans and Venezuelans trying to escape their home country in search of meaningful existence. The communist regime's repression in Eritrea is so severe that 10% of its 5.7 million population is comprised of refugees. The Eritrean people had to endure Ethiopian occupation and dictatorship under Haile Selassie, which forced them to fight for 30 years for their independence, which was the longest independence war in Africa. But the collective misery, sheer hopelessness, and mass exodus of young Eritreans to the western shores cannot be solely attributed to these unwarranted occupations and wars. Not when the communist regime of Isaias Afwerki so ignorantly carries the torch of oppression against Eritreans today. Most people in the West and across the globe are not aware that there are 2 North Koreas, one in Asia and the other one in Africa. If some can imagine North Koreans with black faces, they will see Eritrea as they truly live today. For the last 3 decades, Eritreans in Eritrea have been brainwashed by the communist propaganda, and the Eritrean society has been degraded by communist ideology. Both Eritreans who have escaped Eritrea and Eritreans born in the West are eager to overthrow the communist regime and install a democratic form of government that restores dignity and peace to its people. There are many activist groups in the country, and one of them is called the Freedom Friday Movement, which is the only one to have successfully managed to smuggle a footage outside the country, which is only 15 minutes long. Yeah, 15 minutes long. The country has been ruled by one man since 1991, and there are no national elections, no judiciary, no press, and no parliament. Everyone serves in the military, and if you oppose it or try to escape, you are imprisoned. Africa's lack of economic and political development can be attributed to colonialism, tribalism, corruption, and lack of democratic norms. However, Eritrea's case is much simpler than that. It's due to the vile totalitarian communist regime that has been in power since 1991. The Kim Jong-un of Africa, Isaias Afwerki, has been in power for over 30 years, since 1993, and that's why Eritrea is also known as the North Korea of Africa, for a good reason. Only 1% of the country has access to the internet. Only 1%. Imagine a whole country, only 1% of the country has access to the internet. And the government still blocks many websites, especially those managed by Eritrean exiles. And it also monitors emails. Just like North Korea, Foreign journalists are not accepted in Eritrea unless they're willing to report positively about the country. Eritrean society has lived in fear for 3 decades now. People who oppose the government are arrested or forced to flee the country, and freedom of speech and expression does not exist. There are no independent media outlets, and journalists have either fled the country or are in prison. All independent media have been banned, or Eritrean media is not allowed. The only media that are allowed are those controlled by the communist regime. The few foreign journalists who have been able to visit Eritrea in recent years usually had escorts, and people interviewed were kept under surveillance, just like in North Korea. Many journalists languished in the regime's prisons without access to their families or lawyers. In fact, the Eritrean government has built more prisons than schools since independence, which is an actual fact. Freedom of movement in the country is highly restricted, and the government requires citizens to notify the authorities when they change residence. Young Eritreans, young enough for national service, are rarely given permission to go abroad, and those that travel outside the country without obtaining an exit visa are imprisoned. In fact, this is what has led the Mediterranean Sea to be a mass grave for Eritreans, because some are left with no choice but to try and escape the country legally. Because imagine a country where you have to obtain an exit visa in order to go anywhere. Especially if you want to travel abroad. And if you want to travel inside the country, you still have to notify the local authorities. Even these travel visas that are required for one to travel abroad are not guaranteed for men between the ages of 18 to 54 and women of 18 to 47. Even children as young as 5 years are denied application for exit visas. 1 out of every 10 people have fled the country, seeking refuge in other countries. Anyway, I hope I've earned your subscription, and thanks for watching.